Hello everyone, welcome back to my GH Spoiler channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. General Hospital today's full episode, March 11th, 2026. Valentin's tragic loss shocks Carly, Jason, and Danny. Nobody saw this coming. Port Charles will never be the same after today's gut-wrenching episode. If you thought last week left you speechless, Wednesday's episode of General Hospital just shattered every expectation fans had going into the spring arc, and the shockwaves are already being felt across Port Charles in ways that not even the most seasoned soap veterans could have predicted. Buckle up, because today, Valentin Cassadine lost everything, and the faces of Carly Spencer, Jason Morgan, and young Danny Morgan said it all. The moment that broke the internet. The episode opens deceptively quietly. Valentin is alone in the Quartermain gatehouse, a glass of scotch untouched on the table beside him, his eyes fixed on a single photograph. Viewers who caught last week's cliffhanger already suspected something was deeply wrong, but nothing prepared anyone for what came next. A phone call. 3 words from the voice on the other end. She didn't make it. The she in question? Charlotte Cassadine, Valentin's beloved daughter, the one person in his life he has always fought hardest for, loved most fiercely, and protected at all costs. Following the harrowing accident on the Windermere Cliffs that concluded last Thursday's episode, Charlotte had been rushed to General Hospital's trauma unit. Dr. Terry Randolph and the entire surgical team pulled every miracle they had. It wasn't enough. James Patrick Stewart delivers what may be the single greatest performance of his entire run on the show. He doesn't scream, he doesn't rage, he simply goes still, like a man whose entire internal universe has just collapsed into silence. The glass slips from his hand, shatters on the hardwood floor, and Valentin Cassadine stares at the pieces for a long, agonizing beat. He doesn't clean it up. He can't move. The scene lasts nearly 4 minutes without a single word spoken. Producers made the bold choice to let the silence breathe, and it is absolutely devastating. Carly is the first to find out, and her reaction is everything. Word travels fast in Port Charles. Carly receives the news from a tearful epiphany at the nurses' station. Yes, the show brought back a beloved face just for this, and Laura Wright plays the moment with raw, unguarded emotion that reminds you exactly why she has anchored this show for 2 decades. Carly and Valentin have never been close. They've clashed, circled each other with suspicion, and traded barbs across every room they've ever occupied together. But grief doesn't care about history. She goes to him. The scene between Carly and Valentin in the gatehouse is quiet, unexpected, and quietly extraordinary. She sits beside him on the floor. He never made it to the couch, and doesn't say a single thing about moving on or healing or time being a gift. She simply sits with him in the wreckage. Carly, who has buried children of her own, who knows this specific flavor of impossible pain, offers him the only honest thing she has: presence. "I'm not going anywhere," she tells him softly. He doesn't respond, but he doesn't ask her to leave. Jason Morgan gets the news in the middle of everything. Meanwhile, across town, Jason Morgan is deep in the middle of what appeared to be a routine PCPD information exchange with Dante until his phone buzzes. He glances down, his jaw tightens, and Steve Burton exits the scene so fast that Dante is left in the middle of the Port Charles Police Department with no explanation whatsoever. Jason heads straight to Sonny's Coffee Warehouse, which has apparently become the unofficial crisis headquarters of Port Charles, and the phone call he makes to Spinelli is terse, urgent, and loaded with something we rarely see from Jason: helplessness. Because here's the thing the episode is quietly building toward, the thing that makes Charlotte's death more than just a personal tragedy for Valentin. Jason has reason to believe the accident on the Windermere Cliffs was not an accident at all. A name comes up in the warehouse conversation that will make longtime viewers gasp out loud. We won't spoil it here, but if you've been watching the Cassadine mythology unfold since January, you already know exactly which ghost from the past just crawled back into the picture. Jason's face when he puts the pieces together, ice cold, the kind of cold that means someone in Port Charles should be very, very afraid of what's coming. Danny Morgan delivers the episode's most unexpected gut punch. Nobody expected Danny to be the emotional center of any scene today, but the show has been quietly, brilliantly building this kid into someone worth watching, and today it paid off in full. Danny Morgan, who has grown up surrounded by violence and loss and the complicated legacy of being Jason Morgan's son, runs into Valentin near the hospital chapel in the episode's final act. It's clearly unscripted in its energy, raw in its staging, and the young actor playing Danny holds the scene with a maturity that is genuinely startling. He doesn't know what to say. He's 16, and grief is a language he's still learning. So he does the only thing he knows how to do. He tells Valentin about the one time Charlotte was kind to him years ago when he was small and scared, and she didn't have to be. He tells it simply, without drama, the way kids tell stories, like facts that matter. Valentin looks at him for a long moment. She loved people quietly, Valentin says finally. That was always her way. Danny nods. Yeah, I know. It is, improbably, the most human exchange in the entire episode, and the one that will stay with you longest. What comes next? The fallout is only beginning. The final minutes of today's episode set the stage for what promises to be the most explosive spring storyline General Hospital has attempted in years. Valentin, hollowed out by grief, makes a single phone call of his own in the last scene, and the number he dials is one that should absolutely terrify everyone who stands between him and the truth about what happened to Charlotte. Carly, driving home from the gatehouse, nearly runs a red light. She pulls over, sits in the dark. We can see her mind working, connecting dots, fear creeping in around the edges of her grief. And somewhere across Port Charles, a door closes quietly on a figure we don't yet see clearly. The storm is coming. Charlotte Cassadine is gone, and Port Charles is about to pay the price for whoever decided to take her. Tune in Thursday for the aftermath. If today's episode wrecked you, you haven't seen anything yet. Subscribe for daily General Hospital recaps, spoilers, and breakdowns. And drop a comment below. Did you see Charlotte's death coming? Who do you think is responsible?